He finally passed the university entrance exam. The first person he wanted to share the news with wasn't his parents. It was his beloved teacher. His family was poor with many siblings, and his hometown was just as impoverished. For years, no one dared to dream of sending their children to university. His parents felt the same, partly because of poverty, partly because they believed their child couldn't possibly compete with others. But his teacher was the only one who supported him, the one who gave him the belief you can do it. He remembered so clearly the day he received his exam results. His hands trembled as he dialed his teacher's number. The call connected, and he could hear the smile in his teacher's voice. "Good job, you passed." Then came the congratulations and the excited chatter about which university he had passed. Halfway through the conversation, he remembered his parents and quickly put them on the phone. At first, there was silence. Then his mother said, "Oh, is that really true? Oh, my son. Well, you go and get ready. We'll have a family meeting later." Finally, he heard his father's voice, gruff but with a hint of excitement. "All right, let's do this." His joy didn't last long. Waves of worry came crashing in. 5 years of tuition, hundreds of expenses buzzed in his mind like a swarm of bees. He told his teacher about his worries, and his teacher just smiled. A few days later, his teacher came, bringing a stack of books and notebooks, lessons in morality, kindness, and respect. He guessed. The teacher pressed a small package into his hands and said it was a secret weapon. He said, only to be opened in the hardest times. He hadn't been overly cautious because inside that secret weapon was a bundle of old 10,000 Vietnamese dongs notes, wrapped into layers of worn plastic. The bills were neatly flattened, though many were crumpled and aged. He knew his teacher must have saved them for a very long time. 900,000 Vietnamese dongs. He held those old bills, turning them over in his hands, longing for a quiet corner where he could cry. It had been 2 years since the day his teacher traveled all the way to Saigon to visit him, slipping those hard-earned bills into his hand before rushing back. After that, the teacher was transferred to another post. For 2 years, he still received those 10,000 Vietnamese dongs notes from his teacher. Strangely, always at the moments when he felt most hopeless. 2 years, and he hadn't once returned to visit. One afternoon, just back from class, his mother called. "Mr. H. has passed away." He could only stammer 3 words. "How did he die?" Then collapsed when his mother, choking up on the other end, said he'd been sick for a long time, but no one knew. When they finally took him to the hospital, the scans showed all his organs had failed. Before anyone could visit, he was already gone. He dropped everything and boarded the bus. In the sweltering midday heat, dizzy from motion sickness, he imagined his gentle teacher beside him, slipping those shimmering 10,000 Vietnamese dongs notes into his warm hands. Only now did he notice how pale his teacher had become, how the once skillful hands had grown thin and veined. He snapped back to reality, tears streaming down his cheeks, his heart crying out, "Teacher, why didn't you wait for me?" Because he had always believed, if those 10,000 Vietnamese dongs notes had been spent on medicine, his teacher would have lived long enough for him to return.